Hello and welcome back, Kins and Nerbies. It's Tennille Crystal, and this is going to be a collective reading for all of the red solar seals. So red dragon, red serpent, red moon, red earth, and red skywalker. And so I kind of set this up in the same way that we have our daily oracle that tells us what helps us, guides us, challenges us, and what's hidden from us. And so I just asked Spirit, in that format, can you just reveal to me what's most important for the Redkins to know at this moment? And so I'm hoping this resonates with you. But remember, in reality, we are actually all of the kins. Similar to how you may have your sun sign in astrology, but you do have a moon, a rising, a north node, a south node. And so definitely start with the color seal that matches your galactic signature, but read the title and feel free to watch the other readings, just because truth and wisdom can be hidden in those as well. Okay, so Red Clan, my message to you is that you are your greatest supporter. Fear is natural, and remember your why. So the main energy that we see you in is actually pretty beautiful. We have Six of Wands, take a leap of faith, and then the first noble truth. So the Six of Wands says that the victory, the success that you're moving towards is waiting for you. You know, they've got the figure of the character sitting on that horse and they're being celebrated and people are looking at them and cheering them on. And so obviously it took a moment for you to get there. Before the Six of Wands, we have a Five of Wands, which is like obstacles, challenges, battles, like these energies that are trying to take you down, but you overcome. And so like your moment of glory and victory is here. And so if it's not here presently, it will be here, but you have to move towards what you want to also come to you. And so the Take a Leap of Faith card says, listen, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're afraid of, whatever you're like going back and forth, like, should I do it? Can I do it? Yes, you can. We have the first noble truth, and this says, listen, suffering exists. Suffering escapes no one, whether it be mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. Pain is inevitable. And so sometimes when we're talking about doing something new, the exact thing that can keep us stuck is a fear of failure, a fear of what failure will feel like. And so because suffering will visit all of us, that's the guarantee. But what's not guaranteed is what happens on the other end when you push past, when you overcome. So whatever it is that you're stumbling over, the clear message to you is to say, hey, yes, there is a possibility that this will hurt. There is a possibility that I will fail. But guess what? I can also win. You know, and I can be a symbol of victory, not only for myself, but for others. Now, what can most help you here is we have the energy of the Hierophant. And this, in this sense, is being your own counsel, realizing that you have a higher self. We have this earthly version of us, and being in this earthly vessel, it can get really heavy at times. The vibrations of others and just the things that we deal with can kind of bog us down. And so when you're talking about moving forward, we have to move with, we can't take the old energy to the new. And so tap into your higher self. Maybe you do need to find someone, you know, that you would consider wise counsel. Maybe there is somebody that can give you guidance. Maybe there's just someone that you look up to, even if that's you watching a YouTube video of someone inspirational. But nonetheless, the Hierophant talks about the fact that like God is with you, right? The God in you, the God that surrounds you, the God that you believe in and look towards, like, is literally with you. You are not alone. And the Hierophant is a part of the major arcana. And so that says that this space in your life, this was divinely designed. This is not by accident. And so when you're in a new space, if you're unsure of whether or not you are capable of carrying the mantle of what comes next, your higher self is like, yeah, dude, like we already did it in the spiritual realm. Now you're just about to make it come true, you know, in the physical. And so, my handmade deck is in the third row. So we have I, relate, and peace. And so your habits, your thoughts, your behavior, your speech, all of those things should leave you in a state of peace. So if you are going to plunge yourself into what comes next, you have to do it from the highest version of who you are. And you know if you're operating in a high vibration, depending on how you feel at the end. Am I at peace? Am I settled? Is this what I want? Do I believe I can do it? Do my habits and my daily practices support it? Right? Am I surrounded by people? Am I going to the right people? Am I a part of the right groups and institutions that really are pushing me to be the best version of myself? So whatever helps you become the greatest version of self is helping you energetically as well. Now, when we're talking about what's guiding you, we have the devil. So like literally having the Hierophant and the devil hand by hand says like, listen, sometimes our ego just doesn't understand what we are called to do. And that's okay, because the ego definitely serves a purpose. We can't just throw it out of the window. And sometimes it will give us those toxic versions of self, right? We'll start to think negatively. We don't think we can break free of those invisible chains. We don't think we can stop something or start something. Like, it's that fear that just always seems to pull us back some kind of way. But the message for you is to trust the process. Ego is a part of the process. The devil, whether it's in you or outside of you, is a part of the process. So it's not something that we should fear or try to rid ourselves of, but it's something that we have to learn how to manage. And once it's managed, then we can start to regulate it and keep it in check. The card from my handmade deck says that I have not destroyed property belonging to God. And so the way I interpret that here is saying, whatever you're building, every time you become scared or afraid, every time something tries to hold you back, maybe it's an addiction, maybe it's a relationship, I want you to remember that whatever you are, the story that you are now writing, whenever that fear comes up, say, you know what? I'm not moving against God in any way. I'm not moving against God. I'm not moving against the divine. I'm not moving against my higher self. So even if I'm afraid, I know that that fear is not valid, because the exact thing I'm doing is going to bring me to the greatest version of who I am. Now, your challenge energy, we have 8 of Wands, play. And this talks about there's going to be momentum, travel, change. A pace is going to quicken. And so sometimes our old self can't handle what's to come, right? And so if things take off, it's like, oh shit, like, am I ready for that? Yes, you absolutely are. That's why it's happening, because you are ready. So the play card says, hey, go back to being a child when you didn't know that you were supposed to be afraid of things, when you didn't know that life wasn't fun. Anytime I get the play card, I think of 3 things. So maybe this is my homework project for you. Buy these 3 things, and they just so happen to start with P. But these are childhood trinkets that I think can really restore our inner child while we kind of go through the troubles of adulting. Play-Doh, popsicles, and paint. Play-Doh, popsicles, and paint. Like, you know, the Crayola water paints. Like, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. All of these things can be gotten at Dollar Tree. But I kind of want you to invest into your own innocence, right? Because when the thoughts get too big, when the emotions grow too big and they seem too much to bear, take a minute and just have fun, right? Because that type of energy is going to help you as you move along in the process. What's the last one? Oh, the momentum. You are going to realize that this change, this 8 of Wands energy, is literally triggered and fueled by you. You are doing this. You are creating this. So you are going to see your power reveal itself to you. And it may not always be something that you do, but just because of the energy that you are walking in, because you had the faith to take this leap, you took this leap of faith, right? Because you went to your higher self for counsel, because you are no longer afraid of your ego. You totally understand its purpose and its place, but your ego needs an adjustment, right? And so when things become too big, tap into the sweetest, most innocent part of yourself and realize that all of the abundance that is coming through you actually is because you had the ability all along. Children have no idea of the things that they can't do. They don't know what they can't do. They don't live that way, right? I've got a 3 and a 4-year-old, and they think that they are superheroes, and I'm not going to be the one to tell them they're not. I need them to live in that space for as long as they can. Now, yes, as a parent, I have to give them wisdom, but the experience that I've suffered should not be the method from which I raise or teach them, right? And so this is almost an opportunity to reparent yourself from a place where failure does not exist. And then finally, what's hidden from you is that we have the Fool card and we have the mirrors. And so this says that you have the ability to shatter any reflection that you don't like. When you look at your life, if you were to put your entire life in front of a mirror, anything you don't like, you can totally rewrite and do again. You are not stuck with it. You can reach out and touch it and tweak it and change it, but you have to almost become a fool again. You have to empty yourself of all the setbacks, all the negativities, all the toxicity. You have to just be like, okay, that was then. It served its purpose. I gained my wisdom and I'm off. Now it's time to be a fool again. Now it's a clean state. It's a clean slate. We're starting over. And so when you talk to yourself, I really get the energy of being your own parent. Communicate with yourself in a compassionate way, right? If you were your parent, what do you need to say to little you right now? What does the little you need to know? Say that. What does the little you, do you want to go out for ice cream? Like literally nurture yourself from a loving and compassionate space, because you need you to get through so that you can get on the Six of Wands horse and be on time for your victory. And so what you don't know is that you can rewrite the reflection if you are not pleased with it. Life is literally a mirror. And unfortunately, the foundation for which we were built internally was given to us, right? We belong to adults who raised us. And so a lot of the things that the habits and the behaviors, they weren't things that we decided, but they were things that were kind of put on us. But now is the time to change and to shift and to create it all anew, right? But you have to do it from a place of love and compassion. So popsicles, Play-Doh, and paint, even finger paint. Like if you have a real, like finger paint, don't be afraid of mess, right? Get an old t-shirt. Remember when we used to wear smocks in art class? Get an old t-shirt. Don't be afraid to get messy, right? You can even make your own edible paint, but like love on yourself, because that is going to be the fuel. Love is the most powerful thing. And so this reading says, give yourself all the love that you need, but maybe you never had. Okay? And so again, my message to you, Redkins, you are your greatest supporter. Fear is natural. And don't forget your why. Why am I doing this? So many things want to make you quit. So many things. But remember, whatever I'm doing, I'm not moving against God. I'm moving on behalf of God. I'm moving on behalf of the divine. Like I'm co-creating alongside. So fear is not of God, right? And so you get to be your own parent. You get to build and create whatever it is you want to create. And you can do it from a place of compassion and peace and play. Okay, Redkins, I'm hoping this was helpful. Thank you so much. Take care.